Hi there team, Coach Alexa here. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about sleep. So sleep can have a really big impact on our training and how we perform from a running point of view, particularly how we recover. But it also has a really big impact on our overall health, well-being, mindset and mental state as well. There's a few reasons why it's particularly important for running, and the top one is because it's where you do your recovery. So the same way that children do all their growing and learning when they're asleep, sort of processing what they've learnt when they're asleep, runners and anyone who trains will be doing their recovery and repair when they're sleeping. So if you think about a sort of a challenging training session earlier in the day, your body adapts to that training session and actually gets stronger and fitter when you're sleeping. So have a little bit of a think about that when it comes to making sure you kind of prioritise sleep maybe after tougher training sessions. And one of the easiest things to do if you're feeling a little kind of overtired from training and feeling like you're not keeping on top of the training from an adaptation point of view, getting a bit more sleep in as well as just taking a bit more rest from your training sessions can be really helpful. So a few tips on how to improve the quality of your sleep. Top on the list for a lot of people that I work with is reducing the exposure to blue light. So that's the sort of light that's emitted from screens on phones and tablets in particular, and some televisions as well. It messes with the chemical serotonin in your brain, which is linked to sleep, and can cause us to not get to sleep as easily. So there are some settings that you can get on mobile phones now where it changes the sort of screen colour to reduce the blue light emitted, but by far and away the best strategy is to just try and avoid screen time, particularly on phones and tablets, for an hour before you go to sleep. Another useful one to think about is a routine. So we are creatures of habit as humans, and if we work a little bit at creating a kind of habit or a routine, our body kind of goes into autopilot with it and knows what to expect. So a pre-bedtime routine can be a really good habit to get into. So for me, it's about clearing and tidying the sort of living room and the kitchen. It's about letting the dog out in the garden, locking the doors, drawing the curtains, coming upstairs, cleaning my teeth, getting changed into my PJs, and then allowing myself 10 minutes of reading before I go to bed, because I find that then my brain will be thinking about the book I've just been reading and is less likely to be stressing about stuff that's happened during the day. So create your own bedroom routine and sort of stick to it. And if you do wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep, actually redoing that routine is a really good way of, again, just reminding your body to go through those steps, and we go to sleep at the end of it when we get to the end of that little set of steps. Another little tip to think about is temperature in your bedroom. So having a slightly cooler temperature in your bedroom, but a nice warm snuggly duvet, particularly at this time of year, is the best way to be. It does disrupt sleep if the air temperature in the room that you're sleeping in gets too warm. Another little thing to think about as well, caffeine and alcohol. So caffeine is a stimulant. So if you're drinking caffeine sort of around 5 hours or less before you go to bed, that is going to have an impact on your sleep quality, because you're going to still have that stimulant in your system. Not great for sleeping. Alcohol is a depressant, but it still disrupts your sleep patterns a little bit. So again, if you're having trouble thinking, maybe think about your alcohol intake, try changing it up a little bit and see what the impact is on your sleep. Another thing to think about is food intake as well. So I know I struggle a little bit with this. I'm often working into the evenings on coaching sessions with people, and then I get home quite hungry, and it is tempting to eat, a decent dinner quite late in the evening, sort of 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then you go to bed on a full stomach, your stomach's still digesting, and again that either slows me getting off to sleep or disrupts that first sort of pattern of sleep for the first few hours. So thinking about when you eat during the day. If you're going to be eating later, have a smaller meal or try and eat earlier in the evening. Fats and proteins are harder to digest, so again, maybe thinking about the timing of those depending on what time you're eating. The other thing from a running point of view is what time you train. So this is a very personal thing. Some people are, early birds, lunchtime running, particularly at the moment when the days are really short. Lunchtime runs are getting more popular. But a lot of people train in the evening. That's their habit, that's their routine. Just think a little bit about the time between when your training session finishes and when you go to bed. Few reasons for that. You want time for your heart and breathing rate to drop back down, but mostly a training session, particularly one that's higher intensity like speed work, will raise your adrenaline levels. And you want to just wait for those adrenaline levels to have dropped before you try and go to sleep, because otherwise you will just be lying there awake feeling a little bit buzzy still. So again, it's a very personal thing, because you know, for me particularly, if I've had a long day, I go out for a run in the evening. If it's not too intense a session, that physically tires me out nicely enough to just kind of collapse into bed and go to sleep. But everyone's different. So if you find that you're getting that kind of wide awake feeling in the evening, just maybe check on the timing of your training sessions. Hope that's helpful. I'll put a little bit of a link in the comments below this video about a website that's very good for more information about how to improve your sleep quality. If that's something that you're looking to focus on. Great to hear from you.